Welcome, Robert-Jan. Very pleased that you could make it today. For all the people watching at home, could you shortly introduce yourself to the crowd?
Robert-Jan Smits, I'm the president of the Eindhoven University of Technology.
Awesome. And of course I'm a TUI student, so I know how awesome the university is and how much I enjoy studying there. But could you explain me a bit more why the TU Eindhoven is such an amazing university?
Cool. It's an incredible place. It's at the heart of Brainport, one of the most impressive innovation ecosystems in the world. A fantastic university, first-class teachers and students, and the student teams are very, very, very special.
Yeah, and to go a bit deeper in those student teams, because that's of course why we're here today. I know you're a big fan of them yourselves. You're always super enthusiastic when you talk to us, but also with teams like Solid and Ecomotive that have been on the news recently. Why are you so enthusiastic about student teams? What is what you like so much about them?
Well, for me, the student teams are the heart, the soul, and the face of the university. And it's amazing how students get together to address a challenge, and very often societal challenge. Working together, having a passion for research, science and engineering, mobilizing sponsors from the region, working together with companies in the region and getting things done. And that brings out, these student teams bring out the best of our students. And that's why I'm so proud of them, and that's why I'm following so enthusiastically their work.
I can imagine. I also always love the student teams. What I also like about our university is that with initiatives like Innovation Space, the InnoLab, and with the student teams and the Honors Academy, we also have a very good relation with industry in the region, but also on an international level. Could you maybe elaborate a bit more on that, why our university is so good in that?
Well, let's not forget that our university was created at the request of the companies in the region. They wanted to have 65 years ago a university in the Eindhoven region. So the request came from Philips, from Shell, from DAF, and the government finally decided to go for it. So our roots, our origin lies in the region, and that's why with the new executive board, when we started with my two colleagues, Nicole Ummel and Frank Baes, we very clearly said we want to go back to our roots more than ever before to show that we are there with the region, for the region and by the region. And the region is just amazing. On the small, say, a plot of land to which Eindhoven and surroundings are located, you know, more than half of the patents in the Netherlands are generated. And 3% of the R&D investment in the Netherlands, which we talk about at national level, is actually realized in that region. The multinational companies which are located there, the high-tech companies, they have a turnover annual of 42 billion euro. So just amazing what is going on here in the Eindhoven region, and we are, of course, as university, at the heart of the region. We are providing the knowledge, we are generating the engineers, and 80% of the engineers who come out of our university get involved and stay in this Brainport region, either starting their own company or, of course, find jobs in the high-tech industry. So we are completely integrated in this Brainport region, and we are extremely proud of that, and we want to do even more. And that's why, David, I'm so enthusiastic about you and Team Core, because you are a nice example not only of a student team, but also of cooperation with industry in the region, motivating people, enthusiasm, and really bringing things to the market, because ultimately this will lead to commercial activities which will lead to products which then ultimately we can turn into a new business model.
Yeah, definitely. And to also focus a bit more on indeed the products and the things that are going afterwards. Of course, our biggest challenge is solving the e-waste crisis, making sure that instead of throwing our waste away and getting new materials out of other countries, we keep it in the Netherlands and get a circular economy. That combined with all the other complex waste streams that we can recycle, like polluted soil, circuit boards, and other e-waste. Why is the e-waste challenge, especially in this region, so important?
Well, just look at the number of iPhones and computers we are using in this region. I mean, it's amazing, and not only just in the region, but in the country and actually the whole world. So the e-waste is a huge problem. And that's why I find it so nice that your core team, Team Core, is focusing specifically on that. And actually what you're doing, you are turning e-waste into a commodity. And that's what I find extremely innovative. And again, congratulations for that.
Thank you. Then I think I really want to invite you to actually go to our main star of today and have the reveal of the oven.
I'm all excited for that. Let's go.
Robert-Jan, we're standing here in front of the oven. Before we have the magical moment of revealing it, I first want to say that I'm really proud of where we came. In the past 3 years we started with 3 students, it became even 30 at some point, we're now at 22, and all those students collaborated on this. We had amazing partners working on this. And we're talking about a fine piece of technology. We go to 1600 degrees with this unit, but it's made in such a way that students like us can operate it in a safe way. So you can imagine all the work that we needed to put in that to make it safe, to make it work. And for that I also want to very specially mention and thank Global Oven Systems for all the time that they put into helping us with this system, because doing something like this so unique requires a good load of expertise, and that's what they had, and they always made time for us and understood that we didn't understand anything yet, because 21, I don't know anything, but they always helped us. So big thanks to them. And so far all the formalities, I think this is a good moment to actually reveal the oven. So I would say, let's grab a piece.
Absolutely. 1,
2, 3. And now for all the people at home, let me shortly explain what we're looking at exactly, because I think that for most of you this will actually just look like a very big piece of metal connected to other pieces of metal. So let me walk you through it. What we see over here is actually the core of the whole operation. In here we will set the crucible that you saw standing by Robert-Jan and me before. We will lower it in, and then we will close it again. You have seen the crucible. It's around this size. This thing is around 3 to 4 times the same size. And that is because the whole system goes to 1600 degrees during operation. But while operation, I'm actually going to be able to do this. It's going to be cold. I can actually touch it. And that is because we have a very smart and sufficient insulation layer between it. And then of course the heat that is produced needs to go somewhere. You don't go from 1600 to 0 instantly. So what we have is a giant cooling installation. It's around 7 meters of a co-current heat exchanger, which basically means that the water is coming in on one side and leaves on the other. And that brings us to one of the biggest challenges we had, the cooling system. As you can see here, it's basically 2 water tanks stacked on top of each other. And the water is pumped out of this tank, out of the top tank, using a gravitational system. And that is done because of when the energy falls off, the electricity grid fails. I hope it never happens. But we need some time to get here. So when that happens, I get a notification on my phone, and so get Niels Bongers from our team. And we have 45 minutes to get here, which is enough to restart the system or manually fill it. Of course, this bucket needs to be filled. And to do that, we have 2 very big pumps. And we're not going to put them on today, because they make a hell of a lot of noise, to fill the system on top again. And then, of course, the gases that we have, most of them are clean. Of course, we create a nice product. But there are some gases that we still need to filter out, because we don't want to send it into the environment. And for that, we have developed this beautiful gas washing installation. It's called a bubbler. And what it does is that the gases go via that tube into the bubbler, and they literally create bubbles through a field of calcium oxide and water dissolved. And then it leaves the system onto the roof to our very own chimney. And that is how our system works. And if you have any questions on that, please save them, because at the end of the day we're going to have a Q&A, and you can ask all the questions you want.